What's up, fam? It's me. I'm here. And yeah, we're gonna have a little discussion. But first, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's being smart. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope those of you who are on code are staying on code. First of all, let me express my disappointment over some of the things that I'm seeing, some of the things that I'm hearing. But with that disappointment comes the understanding and the knowledge that it just means we got work to do. We got more work to do. You know what I'm saying? The black grassroots, the new black media, those of us who are woke, aware, and, on code, we just got more work to do. We got more work to do. We got to stay the course. We got to stand on our square, 10 toes down, as they say. You understand what I'm saying? And just like the Democrats doubled down with their rhetoric, with their propaganda, with their lies, with all of their bullshit, sending out their bootlicks and their shields and their paid operatives and all of that, we got to double down as well. You understand what I'm saying? So now we've got to be twice as committed, twice as driven, twice as dedicated, and we just got to stand because our demands, this doesn't change anything. It doesn't change our demands. It doesn't diminish anything. Our demands are still the same. We're still demanding tangibles. We're still demanding our reparations. You understand what I'm saying? We are still determined that we are going to get something in exchange for our vote. You understand what I'm saying? Because we can sit it out. We set it out this time. And yes, I set it out. I did not vote for anybody. And I know a whole lot of people who set it out. And we can continue to set it out. We need to set it out anyway. Like I said, why do we keep trying to add legitimacy to a system that was never meant for us? A system that was never meant to include us. You have to understand, we have been here on this land as enslaved people for over 300 years by the time the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments even rolled around the pike. And had been here much longer as natives. But as enslaved people, we've been here since 1526. They added the 13th Amendment in 1865. So what's that? 39 years? 339 years? We had been here 339 years? Enslaved. So it took that long for them to even recognize us as citizens and give us any rights of citizenship. And then they did everything that they could to strip us of that. But we keep participating in this system like somehow or another our participation alone is going to legitimize this system and bring about some kind of change to this system. We've already talked about this in history lesson number 2. You cannot vote away white supremacy. You cannot vote away hate. You cannot legislate hate. If voting was the answer, if legislation was the answer, we would have all of that stuff now. We would have our tangibles. We would have our reparations. We would be full citizens and be treated like full citizens. Instead of other groups being able to come in here and be treated better than us, folks that are not even citizens, folks that are not even here legally. So yes, we need to sit this. We need to sit it out. We need to continue to sit it out until there are laws that criminalize white supremacy. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about tonight. And I want to be quick. I don't want to be here long. Been up all night, stayed up late last night because I've got a new grandson. Yay, 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 yay. He was born yesterday morning. His name is Zaire Red Bolden. I'm very excited about that. And on top of that, my other grandbaby, my first grandbaby, my granddaughter will be here tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm kind of tired and I need to get some rest so I can be prepared for all the stuff that's going to happen this weekend. So, I'm not going to be here long, but it's something that I really, really want to talk about. And what I want to talk about the most is what we knew was going to happen. we expected them to do it if Biden lost, right? We never expected them to go all out like they're doing now, even though it's projected that Biden is going to win, even though it looks like Biden and Harris are going to win. And that is this whole campaign that they're on to blame black men. You understand what I'm saying? And to target and harass heterosexual black men, right? And this gender divide thing that they've got going on, which they've been using this tactic for a while, and they're doubling down on that as well. And I'm just not here for it. I'm just not here for this whole attack and beat up on and blame black men. I'm just not here for that. I'm not here for it. Black men have stood up. Black men have always stood up. Black men have always been at the forefront of every revolt, every slave revolt, every uprising during the civil rights era. Black men were at the forefront of all that. Black men have always been at the forefront of the revolution. Black men have always been at the forefront of pushing us more and more towards real freedom. Now, does that take away from any of the black women that have been heroines in our movement towards freedom, like Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, I can't think of it, Ida B. Wells, and others? No, it doesn't take away from those sisters, not at all. Not at all. But those sisters had support from black men, just like black men on the front lines had support from black women. That's the only way we've ever been able to really accomplish anything and really get anything done, is when we came together as black men and black women, fighting that common enemy. So I'm not for this blame black men stuff. I'm just not for it. I'm not for it. I'm not going along with it. And I'm putting it out here publicly, as I've done before, but I'm putting it out here publicly that the shit needs to stop. And any foundational black American women that are participating in this, they need to be called out and they need to be ostracized. If they can't get it together, and if they can't calm that rhetoric down and they can't get on code, then they need to be ostracized. Because we can't have this. This is the reason why we can't rise up. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see any other group of people, any other ethnic group of people doing this kind of mess to their men. You don't see the women, white women, Asian women, Latino, Hispanic women, Middle Eastern women. You don't see any other women rising up and putting their men out there and attacking their men like this. And attacking their men for a group of other men. You got all of these black women attacking black men for two white racist old crocodile white folks. And they going in on Ice Cube. They going in on all the black men. You know, they going in on all on the black men, but they're not saying anything about Biden and his record. And if they Democrat, yeah, they might be talking a little bit of junk about Trump, but the only reason why they're talking about junk about Trump is because he's Trump. But yet they're not saying anything about all the Hispanic men that voted for Trump, all the Asians that voted for Trump, all the other folks that voted for Trump. They're not saying anything about them. They just bashing black men. And it's enough of it. I've had enough of it. So I got to speak on it, okay? Now, the first person that I want to talk about, you know, and you got the Journey Smolletts and all of that, talking about black women always gotta save the damn day. Child, what else is new? And all of this, you know, because they talking about 91% of black women voted for Joe Biden, you know, and giving props to Detroit and all of that kind of stuff. But the whole Flint, Michigan, the whole Flint Water situation happened under Obama. a Democratic administration, and nothing was done about it. Nothing was done about it for the rest of Obama's term. Nothing was done about it. But Detroit fell in line. All of those bootlicks and all of those plantation-minded Negroes fell in line. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm Detroit went to Biden, and they're trying to. And this is Journey Smollett. Facts on facts on facts. And you can go on her Twitter and you can see all this. Facts on facts on facts. History will have to record that black and brown folks. See, there she go trying to act like there's some kind of coalition between black and brown folks carried this nation on his back again. No, they didn't, because most Latinos voted for Trump. Talking about African American Policy Forum, this is what they wrote. They tweeted, black and Latino voters in Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and Phoenix. Okay, Detroit is black, Milwaukee, black, Atlanta, black, Phoenix. So what Latino voters? Detroit is the blackest major city. This is Ida B. Wells. This is some girl using the Ida B. Wells account. Detroit is the blackest major city in the country, and what we are witnessing are tactics eerily similar to what we saw during and directly after Reconstruction. This is a fight for democracy itself. So Detroit, so all of these folks, even though Flint still doesn't have clean water, all of these folks, all of these babies have died from this dirty, nasty water, and the Democrats, it happened under Obama's watch. The Democrats' watch. Nothing was ever done about it. But they still convinced these black folks to vote Democrat. Now that's just Journey Smollett. But let's go back over here to my main target tonight. Pam Keiths. And this Pam Keiths woman is somebody that ran for the United States House. And she lost. Thank God she lost. Because just reading some of this woman's tweets, this woman got a problem. But anyway, one of the first ones I want to read is something that she retweeted from this white chick called Shannon Watts. She's one of them blue chicks too. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, and they're responsible for the Biden-Harris victory when they win. In turn, black women should also hold many of the positions of power in the party and in legislatures. Okay? This is my question. When are you black women going to be tired of being the plantation mammies? When are you going to be tired of being the backbone of anything? When are you going to be tired of having to carry all these other groups, a whole political party, everything on your back? You don't see them calling the women from any other ethnic group the backbone of anything. They don't call Asian women the backbone of anything. They don't call Hispanic women the backbone of anything. They don't call Middle Eastern women the backbone of anything. They don't call white women the backbone of anything. But when they get around to black women, all of a sudden you got to be the backbone. You got to be the backbone of a whole political party. You got to be the backbone of your community. You got to be the backbone of everything, which means you have to be down here so that they can pile everything else up on you and you carry the load for everything and everybody else. See, that's what the mammy did on the plantation. The mammy on the plantation looked after everybody else, looked after all the white folks and all the little white children, and looked after massa and looked after the missus and they babies and fed her and fed the white woman's babies at her breast and all of this. And she did the cooking and she did the cleaning and she made sure that everybody was healthy. If you got sick, you wouldn't get the mammy. You understand what I'm saying? She took care of everybody else. Now, whether she was taken care of or not, it was okay. She was the sacrificial lamb who didn't nobody worried about whether she was okay or whether or not she was taken care of, because everybody was expecting mammy to take care of them. She was the backbone of the plantation. That's what the mammy was. The mammy was the backbone of the plantation. So basically, this white woman is letting you know, you black women, you are the backbone of the Democratic plantation. You are the mammies of the plantation. You got to carry everything on your back. So this is what black men are saying. Black men are saying, we're tired of being the sacrificial lambs. We're tired of being the ones that have to sacrifice what's best for us, and sacrifice what's in our best interest, and sacrifice what's in the best interest of our group and our collective to look after everybody else. But these black women are saying, no, 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 no. You can't do that. We don't mind being the mammies. We don't mind being the backbone. We don't mind having to be the ones that's stronger than everybody else and have to carry the weight of all the rest of the groups and all of that. We don't mind that, because it gets us a pat on the head from the white folks. It gets us some recognition, you know what I'm saying, and a little bit of attention from the dominant society. So while the black man is saying, okay, it's time to stand up on your own 2 feet. It's time to stop being down there, letting all these people heap all of this stuff on you, and you got to carry the load for everybody else. While the black man is saying it's time to stand up, these black women are saying, no, 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 no. We don't mind being down here on our hands and knees as the backbone while they pile all of their stuff up on us. Just like I seen somebody tweeted something about, once again, the black folks have had to come and save the country. I'm not interested in saving this country. We have done enough to save this country. First of all, we built it. We built it. We gave it all its wealth. We gave it its culture. We gave this country 339 years. That's just in slavery. Then after that, we gave this country Jim Crow. We gave this country a Reconstruction. We gave this country all the stuff that we're going through now. So we still giving to this country. It's not our job to try to save this country. We built it and never got any recognition for that. Never got paid for that. Never got our fair share from that. So we're not interested in saving this country. We're not interested in any longer being called the moral compass of this country. While we sacrifice and we die, you understand what I'm saying? And we're beaten and we're mistreated and we're abused and we're oppressed, and we do all this sacrificing so all of these other groups can come in and get the benefits. And then heap all their bullshit on top of us when they align themselves with white supremacy against us. So see, this white woman is making it clear, this is how we feel about you. Y'all the mammies of the plantation. Y'all got to look after everybody else. Y'all got to make sure that no matter what, the Democratic Party does not fall. Whether they promise you anything or not. Whether they give you anything or not. Whether they look after your interests or not. And these silly black women just keep falling for it. Okay, now that was just something that she retweeted that this white woman said. But let's go on up a little bit. Then she tweeted on November the 5th, I, for one, am more than a bit irked at the way white crowds seem to be able to do anything without so much as a "by your leave" from the police. And black crowds get aggressively and often illegally treated like enemy combatants. But that's just me. Now, you have to understand, she's not saying this because of maybe black protesters that are out protesting George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or any of the murders that have taken place or any of that. No. What she's talking about is the fact that these white folk, these white militia groups are out protesting. These Trump supporters are out protesting this whole election. And some of the black folks that call themselves out protesting, although why in the hell anybody black will put themselves in any kind of position to be harmed in any kind of way when we don't really have a dog in this fight whatsoever. Ain't nobody promised us nothing. Ain't nobody done nothing for us. And ain't nobody promised to do nothing for us. But like I told you in the history in history lesson 2 about the folks in North Carolina, the protesters in North Carolina who had been attacked by the police and tear gassed and all of this. So I guess that's what she's talking about. But it's funny how I didn't see anything else, her saying anything else about any other protest. She doesn't have a problem with it until it has something to do with the election. Okay? Then she goes on to say, and this is the one that got everybody all up in an uproar and folks just went in on her. 91% of black women voted for Biden because we love everyone. See, that's that mammy stuff. We love everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So you can do anything you want to do to us. You can treat us any kind of way you want to treat us. You understand what I'm saying? You can pander to us to get our vote and then don't do anything for us for our vote in exchange for our vote. You know what I'm saying? You can we can keep going through year after year after year after year after year the same old oppression we've been going through for 500 and some years. That's okay because we love everybody. Because see, that religion with that white Jesus teaches us to love and to forgive everybody. So see, we are the black women that just love everybody and we forgive everybody. Okay, well, if you love everybody, then why did you make the next statement? Because her next statement was 20% of black men voted for Trump because they hate black women. So see, it's the black women doing all the loving, but black men hate black women. Black men voted for Trump and hate black women. Now, it didn't have anything. Then she said, thank you to the 80% of brothers who stand with and for us. So what she just did there was she made this whole election about black and white, about black men and black women. Has absolutely nothing to do with Biden's record of 47 years of racism against black folks. Working with segregationists, his racism as far as busing and schooling was concerned back in the mid and late 70s. 1994 crime bill, along with some other crime bills and other legislation that he had passed that has never done anything but hurt black folks. The fact that he was with or in the Obama White House for 8 years and did absolutely nothing for black folks. So this election is not about Trump's record, Kamala Harris's record, Joe Biden's record, or anything. To listen to this Pam Keiths woman, this election is about black men and black women. And black man, if you don't vote the way we tell you to vote, you understand what I'm saying? As the mammies on the plantation, if you don't vote the way we tell you to vote, if you don't do what we tell you to do, and you don't agree with us, then that means you hate us. It can't mean that you have found a better way. It can't mean that you are tired of the status quo. It can't mean that you tired of giving your power away and getting nothing in return. No, it can't possibly mean that. It's got to mean that you hate us. And only the 80% of brothers who voted for Biden actually care anything about it. So see, you show that you love us and you show that you care for us and you show that you stand with us by doing exactly what the hell Master tells you to do. Whether Master tells you directly or whether Master speaks it through us or some other bed wench or some other mammy or some other bootlick or whatever, you do what Master tells you to do. And they have the nerve to talk about toxic masculinity. This is toxic femininity all day and all night. But what she fails to talk about is that 9% of black women that voted for Trump. So if the 20% of black men that voted for Trump hate black women, then I'm assuming that the 9% of black women that voted for Trump hate black men. her mention of all the Latinos, since we're supposed to be in this coalition, where's her mention of all the Latinos that voted for Trump? The Asians that voted for Trump. Do they hate black women too? Now, folks went in on her. I mean, folks, I really went in on this. Let me just read to you a few of the comments that some people made. One guy said 91% of black women voted for the architect behind the mass incarceration of black men. These same black women have trouble finding black men to marry, and over 80% of black children are raised in single-parent homes. Does that mean black women hate black men and children? This guy says identity politics are trash. Any American has the right to support whichever party they feel aligns with their values and should be able to without this type of hateful rhetoric. My wife and I are both mixed race black. We both voted for the orange guy. What does that mean? This type of rhetoric is nuts. Thought America stood for freedom, liberty, and a person's right to make their own choices without persecution. I'm no Trumper, but seeing shit like this makes me question where this country is going. They blame black men because they are projecting. They love other groups that hate them. I definitely voted for Biden, and I have no idea why 20% of brothers voted for a totally despicable, racist human being. But I'll be honest, Pam, I'm pretty sure the 94 crime bill played a part in it. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he kept bringing it up. It was weird. Could it be, Miss Keith, that they have voted dim so long with nothing to show for it that they dared to venture from the party that ignores black men and courts Hispanics to seek something new? All that anger you're feeling should be directed at Pelosi and Democratic leadership. They put that battery in y'all back and got y'all torn apart down ballot. Their consultants ran out the door with hundreds of millions while you and other candidates getting hit with L's and L's. This couldn't be any more ridiculous. We love everyone except people who vote for Trump, particularly black men. Actually, anyone who doesn't think exactly like us, we hate them. What an irresponsible comment. You used statistics to appear accurate, then provided no data to support such a vile, inflammatory assertion. As a black woman, I've been loved by black men my entire life. Projecting your disrespectful life experience on the public is obscene. She sounds like someone who's had an issue with black males since junior high at least. Thank her parents for that. I didn't vote for Trump, and I don't believe that black men voting for him means they hate black women. Come on, black people. Division is in our own race is a slap in the face of our ancestors, praying for better days. This is hate speech, and I'm glad you lost. This is painfully stupid and divisive. Just garbage. First, this was a plan to break the first one and only true trinity of man, woman, and child. It isn't that black men hate black women. At one time, people with melanin were Republicans. We were self-sufficient and owners of land and property. 10% of black women voted for him as well. Matter of fact, his support from black women doubled in this election. But you left that part out. I'm just saying, it's all about blaming black men. You could also say that the support of black women for Trump doubled, whereas the support from black men didn't. But you wannabes sneaky, and that's why you lost. Your disappointment would be most delicious. Black men voting for Trump means they hate black women. Why is it always about the black woman when black men make their own decisions? So I take it this would be the position of Democrats as opposed to understanding why 20% voted for Trump. It's not as if Democrats didn't have the author of the 94 crime bill and the self-proclaimed top cop of the largest state in the union on their ticket. Such a bogus take. So see, it's not, I mean, the folks was going in. Folks was going in. Now, of course, she had her folks on there that supported what she was saying. But by and large, folks was going in on her because of this tweet right here. Because again, she took it all out of what it was really all about and made up her own narrative. Again, it was no longer about the candidates and their records and what they had specifically promised to do for black folks, what they had already done for black folks, how their record was as far as black folks was concerned. No, she took it all away from that and tried to make up her own narrative that it was about black men and black women, that this election somehow is about black men and black women. But that's not it. That's not as far as this chick goes. This chick is crazy. She tweets this: we ought to be asking some very serious questions about police departments all over the country. Oh, really? And the reason why she said that is because she retweeted something from somebody named Cyborg. Anywhere ballots are being counted should be cordoned off in a 3-block radius by the National Guard. Those protesters should not be able to get anywhere near those buildings. Major security failed. So because of an election and because these white folks are out protesting as far as this election is concerned, now all of a sudden it should be some serious questions about police departments. But she's supporting a candidate that's already said that he's going to push for $300 million extra dollars to go to the police. See how these folks, I'm telling you, these folks ain't got good sense. Now, let's go on up here because she said something else that I really, really want y'all to hear. And I mean, it's crazy. Let me find it. Now, this is the number. This is a man that retweeted, that tweeted something based on what she had said about the 20% of black men hate black women who voted for Trump hate black women. Why would you provide your own? This is from Bryce Wilson. Why would you provide your own narrative to these numbers? It's clear that you hate black men. But if you really care about your sisters, please stop using your platform to mislead them. You're doing the white man's bidding. Black women hate black men. Then this is how she responded. Back up. Every single time black men are harmed, their sisters, mothers, wives, girlfriends, friends have their back. Every time, without exception. 20% of black men aligned with a guy who hates all women, but most especially black women. They are embracing a team. But you supporting the man that incarcerated thousands and thousands and thousands of black men and women. You're supporting the man and the woman that incarcerated thousands and thousands and thousands of black men and women on oftentimes on some old bogus bullshit. What has Trump specifically done as far as policy is concerned to target black women? Or to show any hatred for black women? Any particular hatred for black women? Okay, let's go up a little bit because she won't finish. Now, this is something that she tweeted just 12 hours ago, and I want y'all to listen to this. This is a black woman, and I want y'all to listen to this. I posted this more than a year ago to provoke thought because I hate inconsistent logic. If the theory is that it's fine to dance upon the personal autonomy of women to stop abortion, then dancing on the autonomy of men for that purpose would be okay too, right? And this is what she posted May 15th, 2019. 81% of U.S. boys are circumcised at birth. Why not do a reversible vasectomy at that time? So you're going to take this little boy who cannot give you permission to do anything with his body whatsoever, and you're going to give him a reversible vasectomy at the same time that you circumcise him. Then men can have the procedure reversed when they prove they want a child and can pay for it. No more unwanted pregnancies, no more abortions, no more freedom, but why be picky? So this is supposed to be a whole way of saying she champions abortion or whatever. Okay, unless a woman is raped, I'm assuming that unless she's raped, she did have the opportunity to take some birth control. She did have the opportunity to make it mandatory that man use some protection or he can't have sex with her. So, excuse me? Now, she's not saying to do a reversible tying of a woman, of a little girl's tubes when she's at birth. She's not saying that. No, what she's saying is give these little boys a so-called reversible vasectomy at birth, right while you're doing their what do you call it? Jesus. Circumcision. And then later on when they become men and they decide whether or not they're ready to be fathers and all of this, then they can have this vasectomy reversed. So maybe 18, 19, 20, 30, 40 years later, and it's possible that because of all the changes that his body has gone through, it's possible that at that point you might not even be able to reverse it. So this man is then sterilized by something that he never gave his consent to because it happened to him when he was a baby and he didn't have the right to give his consent to. All these women having all these babies gave consent to have sex. So if you don't want to get pregnant and you don't want to be faced with the question of whether or not you should have an abortion, get on the pill or don't have sex. Or make that man that you having sex with use some protection. Now, these were some of the comments to that one. Wow, forced sterilization. Sounds like something the Nazis would do. Not much difference between extreme ideological political opinions, is there? Oh, come on. Her comment is meant to make people think about how ridiculous it is to have a society accept a woman giving up control over her body when men clearly wouldn't. Don't pretend otherwise. Dude, she clearly has daddy issues. I mean, seriously. It's not like you couldn't come up with a better fucking statement than talking about fucking with babies to such a degree. And by the way, I am PRP, whatever that means. Thank you very much. And this still comes off as disgusting. Is she an actual mother? Then somebody else said, WTAF, whatever that means. So it only takes the boys to make the babies. Do you support FGM for all girls too? Perhaps we can revert to phrenology and just strangle the baby at birth if we think it's a bad one. Fantastic idea. Why not experiment with the demographic that is more likely to abandon, not pay for their children in the first instance, and see how it goes? Then it can be rolled out further if deemed necessary. So what he was saying is, how about just experiment with black folks? But they've already had all kinds of eugenic programs where they forced sterilized black women. Mutilating babies just because they're male is disgusting. Also, generalizing all men as lazy and cheap is gross. Eugenics, Margaret Sanger would be proud. This woman is crazy. An actual House candidate vying for eugenics, genital mutilation, and sexism all in one tweet. The fact this tweet is still up is like the perfect example of Twitter being hypocritical. Now that's how crazy this woman is. But let me give you a little bit of background information on her. Because you need to have a little background information on this woman so you can understand where this woman is coming from, and you can understand that, because honestly, I believe she does have some daddy issues. I believe she does have some daddy issues. I believe she hates her father. She has some issues with her father. You know, because we found out Jamil Hill had some issues with her father. We found out that part of the reason why Jamila Lemieux was the way she is about black men is because her daddy, the guy that played in that pretended to be the light-skinned nigga in the Spook that sat by the door, we found out that this guy, well, he looks actually white. And we also found out that there was a time when he was supposed to be an actual Black Panther, and he lived and was a police officer for 27 years. I think he retired from the police force, so that explains a lot of her hostility towards black men. We found out that because of this very vicious and nasty divorce between Kamala Harris's mama and daddy, and she went to stay with the mama, and the relationship with her and her daddy is just shot all to hell and all of that. And we know how her daddy came out and said that she was a liar and she was a fraud and all of that. So we know how that relationship is. So let's see if Pam Keiths has daddy issues. Because the black media has taught us when folks come out with this kind of particular vitriol towards any particular group, you need to research that to find out, to see if you can find out where it's coming from. So let's see if we can find out a little information about this Pam Keiths history. Now, this is coming from PamKeithsFlorida.com. And this is, I guess this was her little campaign page or whatever. Pam Keiths, a story of service. Pam Keiths is the Democratic nominee for Florida's 18th Congressional District, winning the 2020 primary with 80% of the vote, a record for this district. Pam is the daughter of a U.S. diplomat and a former U.S. ambassador. She was born in Turkey and lived in Morocco, Syria, Brazil, and several U.S. cities before going to high school in Oakland. So she was not born here. Now, she's an American citizen, and I think both of her parents were black. Both of her parents were foundational black Americans, I believe. She went to high school in Oakland and attended UC Davis for her BA and MA degrees. She then attended Boston College Law School, where she was Mott Court champion and made law review. Her desire to serve her country led Pam to commission into the U.S. Navy as a JAG officer in 1995. She served for 4 years, including a tour as officer in charge for the Legal Services Office in Bahrain. Miss Keith later served as the first JAG assigned to the Navy Task Force on Computer Network Security. She speaks French, Spanish, and Portuguese. When elected, Pam will serve as the first, here we go again, but one of them first black female veteran in the history of the United States Congress. Okay, and the rest it just gives, a brief outline, a little bit of background information on her. But, so she's the daughter of a U.S. diplomat and a former U.S. ambassador, right? Okay. So when you go on down the page, it says a little bit about me and my journey here, my early years. June 23, 1963, I am the daughter of Kenton Keith and Brenda Ayo Keith. And they both look like black folks. So let's go find out a little bit about her parents. So I did a Google search to find her parents. And it was kind of easy to find her father because her father is a United States diplomat. And I found this on blackpass.org. June 12, 2015, Kenton Wesley Keith. He was born in 1939. He's still living according to this. On May 26, 1990, career diplomat Kenton Wesley Keith was nominated by President George W.H. Bush to serve as U.S. ambassador to Qatar. After U.S. Senate confirmation, Keith arrived in Doha, the capital of Qatar, and presented his credentials on September 2, 1992. He served until July 17, 1995, and in doing so became the first African-American ambassador on the Arabian Peninsula, right? Okay, now, let's go back to Pam. Some things I need you to know about her. First of all, I need you to know that she is definitely boule. Pam has more than 20 years of legal experience, having worked at the prestigious law firms Morgan Lewis and Buckius, Jones Day, and Ogletree Deakins Deakins, whatever that is. In 2011, she was recruited to serve as senior in-house counsel for Next Era Energy, Florida Plant Power and Light Company. Pam is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So that's she's definitely a part of that whole boule thing. Alpha Kappa, the AKAs, honey. Yes, the AKAs. So that lets you know why she's all down with the Democrats and all down with Kamala Harris and all of that. That whole sister girl HBCU boule mess that they got going on. So I just wanted to let you know she's boule because I want you to come over here and I want you to find out a little bit about Daddy. Kenton Wesley Keith was born on November 12th. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this right. Kenton Wesley Keith was born on November 12, 1939 in Kansas City, Missouri, to Jimmy and Gertrude Keith, a jazz musician and singer, civil servant, respectively. He attended racially segregated Lincoln High School in Kansas City. His interest in international politics began with his watching the televised Army McCarthy hearings in 1954. Attending the University of Kansas intensified that interest as he came in contact for the first time with numerous international students. Keith was inspired to get a BA degree in international relations and French in 1961. He also successfully completed KU's Naval Reserve Office Training Corps program, and upon graduation became a lieutenant, junior grade in the U.S. Navy. I ain't reading all of that. It's something else I want y'all to hear. Let me find it because it's in here. Where he's also a part of the Boule. He's also a part of some sorority, a fraternity, or whatever they call it. Yeah, for men, they call it a fraternity. Hold on. Okay, maybe it was in the other article about him. Hold on. Let me find it because I want y'all to know what fraternity he hailed from. Yeah, Keith is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. He is a member of the fraternity's World Policy Council, a think tank whose purpose is to expand Alpha Phi Alpha's involvement in politics and social and current policy to encompass international concerns. So he's also Boule. Right? So maybe, just maybe, cooning is hereditary in this case. Okay? But this is what I found very interesting. So when I went to look for her mother, because again, her mother's name is Brenda Ayo Keith. When I went to look for her mother, hold on a minute. Let me pull that one up. I found an obituary when I went to look for her mother. Brenda Louise Ayo Keith reigned. Resident of Oakland, California, Brenda Louise Ayo Keith Rain transitioned peacefully in her home on Sunday, May 2nd, 2010, after a lengthy battle with esophageal cancer. Brenda was born on January 10, 1942, in New Orleans, Louisiana. She was 68 years old and a longtime resident of Oakland. Brenda graduated from San Francisco State University with a Bachelor of Arts degree and from the University of Kentucky with a Master's of Arts degree. Brenda worked in the banking industry as a stockbroker and trader of international commodities. Brenda was also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. So see, this is just a whole bunch of Boulets. Probably all of them had some coon in them, in their system. Brenda was an avid reader and an international traveler. Brenda is survived by her husband, attorney Paul Rain. Son Vincent Keith of London, England, and daughter Pamela Keith of Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay, so this is her mama. Her mama died 2020, right? But now let's go back to the daddy, and let's go down here to the end of the article on him, and all of this will be linked in the description box. Ambassador Keith and his wife, Muriel G. Luck Keith. Muriel G. Luck Keith have 2 children, Vincent and Pamela Keith, who is a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the U.S. Senate seat from Florida. Okay, but now Pamela herself, over here on her website, says that she's the daughter of Kenton Keith and Brenda Ayo Keith. And she talks about having a brother named Vincent and all of this. So I know we're talking about the same woman with the same daddy. But this is what happened. At some point or the other, mama and daddy got a divorce. Mama and daddy got a divorce. Mama married somebody else. Daddy married somebody else. Now we don't get in this, and I would have to do a little bit of deeper, because I looked and I couldn't find anything. So I would have to do a little deeper research to see if I could come up with when the parents actually got a divorce. But they divorced. Daddy married somebody else. Mama married somebody else. Mama died. So it makes you wonder, are we looking at another situation like Kamala Harris, where Kamala Harris's mom and dad break up, and Kamala stays with the mama, and the mama starts taking Kamala and her sister back and forth to India, around the Indian family, and indoctrinating them with the Indian way of life and the Indian belief systems and all of that kind of stuff. And now you got this big old gap that has been bridged between this man and his daughter. And it explodes when Kamala comes out in 2019 talking about she black and the daddy calls her a fraud and all of this kind of stuff. Are we dealing with another situation where there was a breakup of the family and the children went with the mama, and it caused a rift between the daughter and the father? Could that possibly explain the reason why this woman so hates black men, to the point where she's talking about, it looks to me like where maybe she hates men, period, to the point where she's talking about we should mutilate little boys and actually give little boys vasectomies when they're born, and then when they get grown, they can decide whether or not they want to reverse it, if it's still even possible for it to be reversed. So this woman is crazy. But I just thought that was interesting because, like I said, on her website, it says, my early years, and you clearly see here, June 23, 1963, I am the daughter of Kenton Keith and Brenda Ayo Keith. But over here in the daddy's bio, they saying that the ambassador's wife's name is Muriel G. Luck Keith, where he done married somebody else, and that doesn't sound like a foundational black American name. Muriel G. Luck. That's Muriel G. L-U-C Keith. That doesn't sound like a foundational black American name. That sounds like a foreign name. And this man traveled all over the world. I mean, this man, Turkey, Morocco, Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Vietnam, Brazil, France, Cairo, Egypt, Kuwait, This man been to Spain, Israel, Palestinian for the negotiations. I mean, this man has been all over the world. And that wife's name sounds foreign. So, I'm not saying that that's what happened, because I don't know. But it just, and then, we see that the mom is married somebody else. We see that the mom married a lawyer, an attorney in by the name of Paul Rain. Her brother still lives in London. And she done been all over the place, and now she in Florida. So I just thought that was real interesting. And it doesn't say anything about this woman being married. I'm talking about Pam Keiths. And she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful black woman. Doesn't say anything about her being married. Doesn't say anything about her having children. Any of that. So, it just makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder what leads somebody to even have thoughts of mutilating children. Like, what does a little boy, when he's born and being circumcised, have to do with a grown woman deciding that she's going to have an abortion? What does one thing have to do with the other? Okay? So let's go back to her. Let's see what else foolishness this woman has to say. Yeah, I'm looking on her page because she out there. She out there. Oh, she retweeted something where somebody said, I'll say it again, everyone owes her a damn apology. Wow, and Hillary Clinton knew this was going to happen too. So now everybody's supposed to owe Hillary Clinton some kind of apology or something. I don't know what for. But yeah, that's it. That's it on Miss Pam Keiths. And I just wanted to give y'all, just a little insight into this sister. Like I said, now, we have been able to see where there's been breakdowns in relationships between some of these other black women that come on social media and spew all of this hate and all of this vitriol towards heterosexual black men. We've been able to show the breakdown in the family, show that there was a breakdown in the relationship between the woman and her father or whatever. And just this possibility, just this seeing that mom got married again before she died, and dad got married again. And like I said, the name of the second wife does not sound like a foundational black American name. It just makes me wonder what kind of relationship, especially considering the fact that her father is still living. Let me see if he is still. After Qatar, Ambassador Keith returned to serve 2 years as USIA Director in Washington, D.C. In 1997, he retired with the rank of Career Minister Counselor. In retirement, Ambassador Keith lectures extensively on international diplomacy and Middle Eastern affairs. In 2001, he temporarily re-entered the USIA as Special Envoy to Islamabad to establish a coalition information center in Pakistan. So he's retired. So he's not a part of government anymore. But in all the tweets, I've not seen her mention her dad at all. Now I seen, like I said, on her page, on her website for you to, to donate and vote for her and all of this for this running for Senate. She mentions him, in her early life, but I don't see anything else. Oh, here it is. In 1974, my parents divorced, and I moved to Oakland, California to live with my mom. Sound anything like Kamala Harris? Up until that time, I only knew I was an American. It wasn't until I was 6 years old that I learned what it meant to be an African American. I really didn't know anything about discrimination until we moved to Lexington, Kentucky. In Lexington, we were the only African American family in our neighborhood and the only black kids who were not bused to school. Those experiences fueled my passion to stand up for equality and justice. I moved from Kentucky to Washington, D.C. to live with my dad in January 9, 1977. I moved from Kentucky to Washington, D.C. to live with my dad and my stepmom, Marielle Locke Keith. Then the family moved to Brasilia, Brazil. In Brazil, I was again reminded of how much of a gift it was to be an American. In 1982, I moved back to California to attend high school. So she just been shifted back and forth between her mom and her dad, So it makes you wonder. Really, really, really makes you wonder. And could it be that living in all of those foreign countries, African American men just don't appeal to her? Maybe she like her men exotic. Maybe just a straight out African American man don't do nothing for her. Now, she didn't stay with mom long, so I don't know whether mom had married again by that time, but she said September 24th, 1976, that was the heading up here. In 1975, it says the parents divorced and she moved to Oakland with her mom. And then in 77, the family moved from Kentucky to Washington. So I'm just not, that's a whole lot of moving. That's a whole lot of moving and shifting around. So I just, it makes you wonder what kind of childhood she had. But she definitely had some issues. So y'all can come and look on her on her website and see some of the pictures about, her naval service and all of this kind of stuff. But I believe it was some cooning in her blood. I honestly believe because for dad to have been in the government that long and working in the government that long had to be some cooning and some shucking and jiving in him. Had to be. And it's very, very possible that he passed that down to his daughter. Mom working in the banking industry as a stockbroker and a trader in international commodities. and also being boule. You got to remember, everybody was boule. Everybody was, all up into all this sorority and all of this. It's possible that mom had some cooning in her too. But I just wanted to give y'all, just a little bit of background information on this chick, since she could actually come out and do a post where she actually says that because 20% of black men voted for Trump, they voted for Trump because they hate black women. Not because they agree with Trump, not because they agree with his policies. You understand what I'm saying? Not because they agree with, the way he has done whatever it is he has done. Or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Not because they disagree with Biden's policies or Harris's policies or their records or their past or their history, as far as foundational black Americans are concerned. That can't possibly be the reason. The reason has got to be because they hate black women. So, it just really, really rubbed me the whole wrong way. And that's the reason why I had to come on here and I had to talk about her, and I had to put some information out there about her. Y'all can get to looking her up. Okay, and then on her bio, on her Twitter bio, this is what it says. Democratic nominee with 80% of the vote, Florida 18th Congressional District, former U.S. Navy JAG, litigator and expert on workplace law, BC Law School, Boston College Law School grad, she, her, hers. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe some of y'all know what that means, but I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know whether she's a part of the alphabet community or what. But yeah, I just wanted to give y'all that information on her, okay? And y'all can go do some research on the chick. Like I said, all the information that I have will be in the description box. Y'all can go read all of these articles and all this kind of stuff. But chick really has some issues, especially when she starts somehow trying to make little boys being born and circumcised have anything to do with what's going on as far as abortion is concerned. Anything how she correlates the two, it's got to be something wrong with you. It's got to be something wrong with you up here mentally to somehow even work that correlation out in your mind, that somehow it's okay for you to even think about giving little baby boys vasectomies while you circumcising them, which circumcision is something that they do for health issues. And then later on down in the years, if they decide that they want to reverse this and have children, they can do it. But whatever. So, I just wanted to bring y'all, I just wanted to bring this to y'all. These folks is off the hook. These folks is off the hook. So this is what I'm asking. This is what I'm asking all foundational black Americans, women, under the sound of my voice to do. What I'm asking y'all to do is for the next week or so, let's just use the hashtag Black Men Rock. Black Men Rock. Because we've got to show our support for our brothers. We have got to show our support for our brothers. We have got to show our support for the men that we claim we want to step up and provide for us and protect us and all of that. And they being slammed. So you will see the hashtag in the description. You will see the hashtag above the title on the video. And let's just do this hashtag Black Men Rock, to show our solidarity and to let these folks know, to let all of these puppets and all these bootlicks and all these black faces of white supremacy that we are not going to be divided. that we are not going to fall for the trick bags. We are not going to fall for the con, and we are not going to let them divide the black community. Because we cannot build with all that division. So you understand why this chick lost. I think she lost it when I pretty much think she lost it when she put that tweet out there about the little baby boys and the reversible vasectomy. I think she lost it then. But that's all I had for tonight. I didn't mean to stay here this long, but you know how it is when I get to breaking things down to you and providing you with information, because we can't be talking to you and telling y'all all of this stuff without providing receipts and without providing y'all with information and links so that y'all can go find this stuff for yourself. But y'all, please like this video. Please share this video. Let's have these conversations. You understand what I'm saying? This is the perfect time for us to really have conversations, because me and my son and my daughter have been having some real deep, real serious conversations. We've been doing it for a long time, but we've gotten even deeper throughout these last week, this last 3 or 4 days. So we need to have these conversations, and we need to sow those seeds. We need to continue to sow those seeds in people. Okay, maybe maybe we won't get, maybe in this particular election 2020, maybe we won't get the harvest from the seeds that we have sown. But we got to keep sowing seeds. We got to keep watering. We got to keep fertilizing. We've got to keep trying to get as many black folks as possible on code. We've got to get as many black folks as possible understanding that your vote is not a gift. Understanding that your vote is the only little leverage and the only little power you might have. But getting them to also understand that voting ain't what causes change. If voting could cause change, then we would already have change. Voting is not what causes change. Again, we got to build our economics, and we got to do all these other groups are doing. We got to build up our economic base, and we got to buy us some politicians. We got to spend some money. Again, LGBT, what, 3 to 4% of the population? As a voting bloc, they couldn't put nobody in the White House. They couldn't put nobody nowhere as a voting bloc because it ain't big enough. But they getting everything that they want. Same thing with the Jews. Same thing with the Asian Americans. Same things with the Hispanics. And they have people in these places in Congress and as representatives and all of that really stand up for them and really fight for them. We don't have anybody anywhere in politics that really fights for black folks. All of our people that are in politics for themselves. For the crumbs and the butter biscuits, and as Tariq calls them, the nigger trinkets. We ain't got nobody there that's really fighting for us and fighting for the interests of the black community, the foundational black American community as a whole. They all there fighting for themselves. So what is our next step? What is the next thing we do? Well, first thing we do is we stay on our square. We stay on code. We don't get off code just because this one might have didn't turn out the way we wanted or the way we thought it was going to turn out or whatever. We don't get off code. We don't give up. We don't fall back. You understand what I'm saying? No. We double down. Because as the leaders of the new black media have shown us and have taught us, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is something that we already knew was going to take a minute. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. So we've got to stay the course. That's the first thing. And we've got to stay on code, and we've got to continue to keep putting the truth out there so we can get more and more and more black folks on code, right? The second step is we got to work on our economics. We got to try to pull this money into the black community. We've got to try to pool our resources together. We've got to get to that point where we at least attempt to trust each other enough that we pool together our resources so that we can build. Whether we do it in our communities by starting, some kind of little fun or as foreign folks call it, some kind of little susu and everything, where everybody in the community, or as many people who are willing, get together, and they invest $5, $10. You understand what I'm saying? Every week or every 2 weeks when they get paid. You understand what I'm saying? And we put that money with somebody that we trust, or we put it in a special bank account or something like that. And everybody that's involved in it, whatever you can come up with in that week or that 2 week period or whatever, you put whatever you can put in there. And then we set a specific time. Okay, we'll see how much we got after 6 months. And based on what we got after that 6 months, we sit down and we decide collectively what we're going to do with it. Maybe we buy a plot of land. Maybe we take this money and invest it in the stock market. Maybe we take this money and we invest it in starting our own business, or invest it in a business, a black-owned business that's already started. But after 6 months, no matter how much that money is, we decide collectively how we're going to invest it, not spend it, how we're going to invest it. There's a difference between spending money and investing money. See, that's just, or maybe there's a plot of land in the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? That's on sale. We can make a down payment on that land. And we own that land jointly, and we just leave that land sitting there. You understand what I'm saying? So that it's there if we need it. Some of you have been honestly thinking about running for public office. Now is the time to get serious about that, to get your finances together, to do some research, find out how much money it would cost to run a good campaign. You understand what I'm saying? And go ahead on and start the process. But this is not the time for us to slack up. This is the time for us to go real hard. Maybe there are some of you that have honestly, seriously been thinking about, you want to be a part of the new black media. You got something to say. You understand what I'm saying? You want to add your voice to all the other voices out there. Because the more voices we add, the louder we become, and the more we drown out all of that noise. And all them folks that ain't saying nothing. So maybe it's some of you that have thought about and have seriously considered, I want to add my voice to the voices of the new black media. Okay, well, now it's time for you to do that. Figure out the way that you're going to do it. Maybe there are some of you that have been wanting to start an organization of your own, or start some kind of nonprofit of your own, or whatever, for the betterment and the empowerment of black people. Okay, seriously start thinking about doing that. Seriously start finding out the necessary steps that you can take so that you can go ahead on and do that. Whatever it is, now is the time to do it. But like I said, have these conversations. We need to have these conversations. And we definitely need to be having these conversations with our younger people, with our children, with our grandchildren, nieces, nephews, our children's friends. When they come around, we need to be having these conversations. Even if we don't have these conversations with them directly. If they're in the house with us and they can hear us talking, we need to be having these conversations. Because even if we think they're not engaged, you'd be surprised what they're actually hearing and what they're actually listening to. And you're sowing that seed. So again, get down in that description box, look up this stuff, because this stuff will be in the description box. Y'all can go to Twitter. Her name is Pam Keiths. She's a blue check. And it'll say Pam Keiths, U.S. House candidate, Florida 18. So you can go on her Twitter and you can see all of this. Oh, and I meant to tell y'all about just, how bad these folks have gotten. I mean, these folks is just, I mean, now we got, not only do we have all the bootlicks and all the coons, and we got all of the immigrants coming in all up in our business trying to tell us what we supposed to do and what we supposed to have and ain't supposed to have, and attacking black men and trying to divide black men and black women. Now we got white men all up in the mix. This white dude by the name of Kyle Brooks on Twitter, he was all into it with Tariq. Listen, man, you going far left, or should I say far right. My point is, as you have seen in the last 48 hours, there's power in every fucking vote, man. You get nothing when you don't vote. Your ancestors got their fucking skulls dented so you can vote. Now, this is this white man coming at Tariq. This is what Tariq said. These white Democrats have been extra disrespectful to black folks all day. And this is something else that this white dude, Kyle Brooks, tweeted. I will never mind my fucking business. Now, this is him with all this cussing and all of this. This is an open debate for all. That's how Twitter works. She is a black woman. Why in the fuck would you have a problem with that? Talking about Kamala Harris. First of all, Kamala Harris is not a black woman. Then there was this other white dude. If Joe Biden wins, we all hold a huge debt to black women in this country who embody true democratic values. So here's another white man letting you know, y'all mammies pulled it out. Y'all mammies did your job. Y'all mammies was willing to lay down and let them pile all of this shit on your back so you can carry everything for everybody. And when you go to this Kyle Brooks post, that particular one where he said what he said about the ancestors getting their fucking heads dented in and all of that, oh God, they went in on him. Twitter went in on him. Twitter went in on this dude. So, I mean, we just got everybody, everybody got an opinion. But ain't got a damn thing to do with nothing. Ain't helping nobody do nothing. Ain't none of them never helped us do nothing. Okay, Kyle Brooks, if you married and you married to a black woman and you so concerned and all that, why don't you use your white privilege so that we can get some shit done? See? So, it's real. It's real. A lot of this shit is kind of funny once you think about it, but it's real. But we gotta stay on our square. We gotta continue to do what we've been doing. They double down. Hell, now we double down. Just that simple. Nothing changes. Nothing in our agenda changes. We got a black agenda. We're gonna keep a black agenda, and we're not fooling with you, these politicians, unless you got a black agenda. So this is what I want to bring to you guys. Y'all, like I said, y'all can be safe. Y'all stay on code. Let's work at getting more black folks on code. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is we just going to have to accept the fact that we're just going to have to leave some black folks behind. We're just going to have to leave some folks on the plantation. Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, them folks over there not in the Haitian Revolution, because the Haitian Revolution, everybody was a part of that. But down through history, it's just been times when you just got to leave them behind. You got to leave them on the plantation because you got to go. Because if you stay there trying to convince them and fooling with them and all of this kind of stuff, they go one way or the other, they're going to get you caught. One way or the other, they're going to get you hemmed up. So you just got to go. Okay? So we're just going to have to leave them. We're just going to have to leave them behind, and we're just going to have to keep marching forward. So that's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a good one, and I'll be back with you soon. Good night.